Mama, good evening. But just to media. So live on OK 101.7 FM, any partner radio stations, High Life Radio, PK Live with DMV, Kids Jersey Radio, PK Live with New Jersey, and NASPA Radio, so UK, almost PK Live one Cuckoo Spencer. Any team and on more solid UK honum. You call Cochrane to me, I got 2 FM, so one of my blazed Tony Law, any team, no, honum. But I said, I say, and come up with the production team, no Mr. Johansson, any DOP, a DBD, according team now, I can know again. Good evening, you. Just you are live on OK 101.7 FM. If I'm a Vim lady, if you're Pokia, I see how they will say it after this respectfully. Abayefo fra abano President Mahama is on course. The issue and they become what and necessary issue no. Now no Monday me catch him say President Mahama must start cracking the whip on the ministers because so far no there at least so good. Or he ordinilemu. But in Crawford what designating it to me na Ghana for no ye overwhelmingly. Ye to about the man no so designating the ministers no. They can bring its government down. And I know President Mahama, the person with which I cannot buy way, or person or any BCC was said about or debate Jimmy Dean or debate Ginny Dean. So what's done from beginning, even before crowd or Babedi, Akonyami Aso and in the crown. The 120-day plan or the buy issues or the buying now shows that he wants to distinguish not buying way from the previous buy now from Samuel Sini or Obedi Nadiano. So far, President Mahama solid. But here's this issue. You have me that candle. You have me that candle. Your madam, minimum time or your director of communication, Emma NDC Western Region. You go share NDC Congress. I say what Tamale Adena. Very good person, excellent human relation. But as health minister, the Mita candle is on a slippery slope. He's on a slippery slope, and yet because it started with Tamale Teaching Hospital boss your Pamuni when the real issue. Granted, some papa no wanye na adwuma yie. But consume na boy hina ye nim say adwuma bi emu no. Ye ma room for error. Of course, that room for error no must never ever be result in the death of another person. Any say mo obi ewu. Into where somebody has died a serious issue. But until so become no say whether or not the death of the person was as a result of the negligence of or no Tamale Teaching Hospital administrator, and answer director, no, and answer other officers, or say the corporate governance, so we are penny in us SMC, na wumpona directly, or cause so problem na by virtue of someone now yet in charge. Liability, no, you also say one away. It's your hobby and shed any problem, but how you handled it. And especially when issue, especially, it's about say. Ventilator, of course, he doesn't produce the ventilator. He does not procure ventilators. And the Ministry of Health, Ghana Health Service, what among ventilators? If Obiu as a result of ventilating, well, you come measure the chain of causation. Perhaps in Gabon will say no. But if Prisa Tamale Teaching Hospital to issue no, I don't know. What is it? A minister say a year some judge. A data I wanted it is a very excellent way because they say we are going to get more data for the value, the same value. So you are 10 Ghana to this, I'll be more data. He's done a fantastic job. No one some judge pressure on the man as Lewusu. He should not even start complaining. But I'm slippery slope so I started with a year first a black and a candle so and some judge. They have to be spoken to. A woman say we are youthful. And we are me. I was one of the first people I catch because I was mentioning the way President Mahama for young people no year Juma in their government. I praise them, say NPP for more young people be brave because it's not like NPP for my young people for chance, but the magnitude, the numbers of young people or more position and traditional penny and then it's occupied by young people because share a kind of position. But President Kufuor and President Kufuor, you are penny for handle ye. Now a young person. But more yama about so be a young and to say our knowledge but wisdom no a problem. Because I bet you say a Dr. Adukufo, who was minister and the new President Kufuor timer. This whole next issue you could have been handled in another way. And the mama money my excess sanity. Say youthful exuberance, they go too far. You're a candle. Oh, say I feel Get young giddy nyadio. Young fat giddy nyadia, you won't near now quite, and any man a patayan. The way I hear that cannot handle Ness's issue, no, it's not the best. It's not the best. You should have handled it well. Since I also call for retired nurses. Seriously, it's retired nurses now go for no. Or when the morning near my idea, Juma. Do they know telehealth? Do they know computers? Do they know say machines somebody here, Juma? Hey, this is even a dangerous precedent. And I offer retired nurses, doctors near the end bar. Mobile crash course as to say the and saying new knowledge about because be our medical field, the movie him say. More upgrade you more knowledge. More courses come because now only the chloroquine and the malaria and then you have chloroquine some malaria. Into more crash course. It's just dangerous. Now say in so doing now the mabamuno in order to save the situation. Say me from no be who and now will be accident, medical accident, BC, and now issue be negligence case me ba. Would the liability be to who? Assume you know, say Obia Pemamu. Obia Papa wrong diagnosis because 1950 knowledge did not nipa na dia ban or dia human and any assistant and the treatment assistant and the virus be near and more bacteria and be all develop resistance near the immunity to some medication from la cry injection assistant can you know your be said because here I think you have to be the glue skin yeah the glue na into the assistant into be more crash course one hour more crash course now study American say me this year. It's one minister in MSU for negligence and Ghana Health Service and a particular retired nurse no out in the buy-in. You must necessarily sit down and talk to them. But talking to them in your cabin, so attitude, me say, who dear Kobusa, here I can do respectfully. Busa, who dear how they do because I'm not tell penny, and he has more political experience than you. Busa, who near how they do when he was moved from communication ministry under President Rawlings transition to President Mahama first time no mobile. They didn't free communication, didn't call a labor. I don't know how they do say your problem. Because for the youngs human relations, the student politics need be respectfully. Here I can do. I'm not saying say youngs and you know. I know you're a fantastic person. Youngs and you will be. Then I make so human relations there. May have known you are you're solid, but something is missing somewhere. Now one yes I is missing one. You will fall into a trap because public sector workers they can make you your government ungovernable. This is not the time I get NDC MPP. I see a little bit of the politics going on in Parliament between Yera, Dr. Ayu, because Dr. Ayu, so to mind you, all your medical doctor. It is a next striker. It is Niniano. Dr. Ayu, the Apostle of Parliament, speaker, it's part of the politics, but at the bottom of it, let's say, I think Dr. Ayu wants the best. And they also know, say, like, gargantuan promises be NDC Muyaman Cropon. Realistically, no, and possible. And be honest, Minister Kate said demands now nurses need making no. Just say they didn't even budget for it. You see, but opposition, I think imagine the opposition. Say MPP for no people can't say I'm budgeting and Tabu can at MBC. You see, the way you govern. In opposition, yes, I know governing in government. In fact, MPP is the same. I didn't even afford a central trap because time and then this war 2016. MPP boys, oh yeah, you're paying mobile and you're my trucker. I feel no more COVID about Russia, Ukraine war. But the reality of the system is that, and you be beyond obeting your back death. You will win people over because see, from time immemorial, maybe a journalist, nurses. Even on the public sector workers, police, near the OPR salary and so no. Anything that President Kufuor convert single spine salary structure by say OPR salary sooner. And I say convert single spine salary structure back. If I President emails to create we need power 209. I didn't see a conya. So say President Kufuor trapping because when you say all the corner last minute and no signing for approval because no my negotiations almost because budget need to be accommodated. And a President Kufuor signing here. Until President Mills about to know what they inherited. Where will government find the money to pay this single spine salary structure? And the public sector workers almost salary is so almost that. But a conscious effort to prioritize them say, who don't measure budget? And the busa era kind of kobusa who near to force and all. Say then now one accommodating necessary. Because the negotiations are starting. So it's not government cannot claim to own him. Government cannot claim so on him. Onimpa said, this is what was going on. It's the moment we do politics with everything. I mean, Minister Nasemo Kokaye, because you see, this is a very serious situation when the nurses are talking about it. To me, that's what they are saying. See, we are very disappointed in government. What government said, there's no budgetary arrangement for us. This is a big blunder. This is a big blunder. Why did government not make any budgetary arrangement for nurses? Why? But any small group, public sector workers now, Aban is the #1, the biggest employer in Ghana. It is all by also my arrangement to be for nurses. How is that possible? How is it to say I didn't have to try Aban answer? But see, this is the trick. Where these errors have happened, no, the role of the minister so kasa nyansa wom kasa sebi brusem predia sampatonye to spite the minister in any way. I'm just using that advice for want of a better word in American because may respect you but as someone in chini wom, that's what I really mean. Because even the scriptures in Proverbs say a calm answer. It will mean a buffo, no matter how angry the person is, it will man a bathroom. And even Tabaya making budgetary allocation. Kasa ubenya catch the wunianum and a permanent bathroom. It's here candle. I think you should take cue from Tamale teaching hospital issue to way say, calm down, pipe it down, cry. Because public, especially health sector, almost some of them are so up. And we are ready season when you're doing July. Cholera, beba. Malaria, beba. So more extended strike here. Na doctors, the so and I'm watching workers crash almost so montiati. Na pharmacists, the lab technicians, and the so other health allied one wife or not. Eka was so shit. It's in a Monday, na make a moon focus president mama. Ye here and son a pata. Niamona ya kwachiwe is unnecessary. Moya ora ya we watching cover. We told you to pipe it down. Focus you 4 years if an hour. What did you think of what? It is subject to the prosecutorial processes and the court processes. And it will spend no energy. Me, I can't say Mamu Kochi will be a face coming at the Mamu Kochi, but that will not be the priority. Focus on where, because in Kamuya or obviously somebody didn't even focus on public sector health workers. Because more focus, I will work as CDS, so say you focus on oral and can move budget. You see the exposure. Where when the oral, what the fundamentals of the orals are not working now. Yeah, with the public sector worker salary will expose you. This is it. Some focus on health workers, salary, Ghana workers in general. To say they will focus on oral. Wontumi ko chase gold go airport. Even when the code has a qualified document. I just say a BOG Bank of Ghana for they call Bank of Ghana. They charges no here not I feel now what say you must make a case in court. And it does not lie even in your prosecution. It lies in what the court admits and what the court accepts and what the final ruling of the court is. And come to me, work as the salary room. I think the president Mama must start cracking the whip. So look, guys, there were 4 years pay. But focus on the necessary. Not only workers and casa. Until I say you are kind of a say no. Yeah, anything piano, who poster, who didn't mean I must change. Who poster didn't mean I must change because doctors, nurses, midwives, lab technicians, or more cast or more drilling one draggy idea we are, strike we are. Nipe be woo again, no, and yes, more. Now you see, there's a fundamental issue that you people are not even thinking about. Just say, Ghana, immigration for the mama. Now, Ibrahim Traore, Burkina Faso, Baye, now for jubilating. There's this fundamental issue sweeping around West Africa, and for Peku, na attractive, na iti. The more Obama public workers issue are dragging, the more it creates a perception, the more it gives the desire. So, be maybe don't do that. But the mama doesn't deserve that. We have come too far. We have come too far. It's here I can change your attitude, change your demeanor. Change you mean because I make from Tamale teacher Saki way no as much as for radicalism no the radicalism must be applied in context. You must look at the totality of the circumstances. Now, oh, yeah, we are my party full soldiers. Next is midwives and doctors. So when you're party full soldiers, so almost strike here. A party full soldiers. It's up to you to prioritize. Who do you want to please? Do you want to please the system? Do you want to please the workers? Do you want to please the majority of people? And a party full soldiers, so there's a way that to communicate with them at a certain level. But the general population, the critical mass of the workers who hold you, I want to say there's a way that you deal with them. And you're not also careful. It's my number way, Joe.
Over the current impasse leading to the strike and the suffering patients enduring, the ministry states emphatically that government appreciates the invaluable contributions of Ghanaian nurses and midwives to the development of the health sector. Government remains committed to the needed engagement that will lead to the approval and implementation of the new conditions of service for nurses and midwives.
I think government is committed to negotiation. Government is committed to engagement. Do something different. These public sector workers, from essential services. What thing that's what the minister is doing. Kudos. You have no option but to listen.
Accordingly, government has directed the Minister of Finance and the Fair Wages and Salary Commission to, as a matter of urgency, lead the development of a roadmap to ensure a smooth implementation of the process. We engage the leadership of all Nurses and Midwives Association within the health sector on 30th May 2025 to address their challenges and discuss the subsequent roadmap leading to the implementation of the new conditions of service. Fortunately, the other associations supported my intervention, with the exception of the GRNMA, which declined and proceeded to declare the strike on the 2nd of June 2025, despite the NLC caution.
We're say Omoni for negotiating, I'm with the exception of Ghana Registered Nurses Association. Or even National Labour Commission crowd or declare strike. Never say a can of because if they say they have nothing to lose, they can strike. You can't sack the nurses. Look at the number of nurses here in Ghana. You can't sack all of them. Retired nurses and doctors are in Ghana. The same number as the nurses or more payroll says here. You cannot sack them. It's in the this is what I'm saying, the minister and your communication, your interaction with them. Even go back to those issues. So we try to resolve it, and but we are going back to the drawing board. We are committed to dealing with the issues. But to say all these slow down. No strike you cannot handle it. So don't start a war that you cannot finish. Do not start a war. I want to mean finish it. When you can say no one. But first say some of these things you have to go behind closed doors. When I'm now registered nurses and midwives penny way fee. There's some diplomatic way, unconventional ways of dealing with the issue, not just this one. Your patrol. Why? Your patrol because anything else. Listen to
any fault. It is their right. They are seeking their right. I would want to know any of you who think this just is not justified in Appendix A of their CBA. Is it the issue of rural incentive allowance that was agreed, that is meant for nurses and midwives in the rural areas, so that we can have nurses and midwives in the rural area? Which of them would you say is not legitimate? Is it the issue of fuel allowances, which has been historical since 60s for these people? Is it the issue of uniform allowance, which has been there since the 1960s? It couldn't have been changed in any republic, and it cannot be changed under a previous government. It cannot be changed now. We are here to plead with the nurses to understand that even if government see the need to engage them, they should go with the good faith with Ghanaians at heart. Because getting all the money without the lives that we have lost brings no joy to anyone.
I like what Dr. Ayi I like what he's saying. Say all 2 million nurses will say they should not be motivated by Jessica because and this is the kind of cooperation. That's why I didn't like the initial politics. No, into Dr. Ayi I had here, even though I'm making extreme politics with it, but at the bottom line of it, all my medical doctor and told him minority for him. I be on doctors. No one say we are dealing with life. So when you don't grow for her. And the role of nurses, no, is so crucial to the survival of our constituency for. And the man cooling nurses, no, now for some score political points against NDC, you know, oh, can't NDC. Now NDC there, almost say nothing. So it will go over everybody. It go over everybody. It go over everybody. Pa. So I like the poster now. In fact, say, Doctor, are you a free afano? Anyhow, he's handling the issues and the nurses. Homogeneous and the nurses need demands extremely justified. But for the sake of Nipa that's any life, you know, more must can't the issue. But managing that's why I didn't like and the politics never course on the floor of parliament, affairs deputy speaker. But those ones in here, what you have on theater, but inside parliament, a part of those just for chege reasons, you know, so really no, it doesn't need anything. Yeah. I hope say bet me resolve this issue because I mean at the end of the day, no Ghana for and I hear on mine on course one in year say and you might be begging seminar problem.
So as minority, we are mindful of the fact that we are not stoking it up and asking them to prolong the strike. We are only asking them to be merciful as far as the tables are concerned, that when they go to sit, they must be merciful to see the need to be reasonable. Reasonability means you appeal to their conscience and say, if you are asking for 8 things, we cannot. You know what? In the budget, we'll do 3. Maybe the next budget, we'll do 2. Let government change their posturing towards these people and let them not use the law and let them not frighten them.
When you let government just change its posture. Change your posture. Let me know. At the end of the day, you will lose. You will lose. They have nothing to lose. At the end of the day, no more. They have nothing to lose. So, almost strike here. And when I say the salary, but they have nothing to do except that almost be area, almost be hospital, and they will face the same predicament now. But we must deal with the issues properly. Look, at the end of the day, no, oh my Ghana, and then here, and we are all doing this so that you may save you, oh my Ghana. You know. The point I was raising about say a year, now okay, some George did, and data prices or more reduce. Say at the end of the day, no, that's a positive thing. What I said, that's a very positive thing. Say, oh, you're reducing data prices because they will be happening, no. But there be no be concerned about some George. Response I would demand on social media. I don't make I say ministers need be under President Mama. Oh, check John Dubelo Abrante with Jana. I just love John Dubelo how there's a Abrante excellent job. Now, John Dumelo here. So, if you are so overly fixated on say social media, any idea now? Who made a mistake? If you're overly fixated on social media, and social media friends, I'll be any idea because now no confrontation as I'm George taking tree boy see oh. I'm busy responding to important people. There's some unimportant people here to Obama. So be to Obama. Why you don't go there to discuss EFS? They're important. They're only important. Obiavo to be on the Bema Obia OJ. Obiavo to be on the Bema Obia OJ. What changed? I just hope say some George near my best sign. I know say or not so. I mean I deliver data. And now we are getting more data for the same amount of money that we used to use. For me, I think that's a positive thing. There was a bonabaso that at least a whole year will deliver. But I mean, you'll be out here, you might have your category, the boy, you don't expect the minister to be an angel. But see, some guy, they were he should even know so a target. He should know so a target. Got a tear. Or the 10 years, no, who will be at way. Then at a tear, or no, I didn't as no. So be so ye be I trainer and go no as am George me just say Kroma and go back her. You see, and that is why I have a pressure because of the honor other people. See, I mean, over MPP for and also talk about MPP National Executive because I hear say almost all year changes like will be to say Yera Kukufu wants to contest as General Secretary or General Secretary. And I think that people like that or more chance. See, ever caught those issues. So, but a quick one again on nurses. They say, look, the nurses are demanding, say, where they will make sure say they will get their pound of flesh. And say government decision to appeal to retired nurses not to come, no. And for a brief period in patch or any I don't think that's the best decision because and then knowledge you know 10 years 20 years there and Osikana of spending the more crash course I'm my updated so and then we say yes son malaria saying yes son and you could have used it to even cool these next we have emergency bonus muji we cram to back so this I don't agree with it yeah in the past they don't just say it is right say was here yes sir. Or some way careful because in Penifon cry to the next said, say, Bibi cry or more, I'm quite so Bibi or Crom de Musica nature. Or uniform near the uniform, I think I will change that Crom de Musica. I think you get one, and then the subsequent ones, no one or something like that. Now, I'm not too sure about the full details in Abuja, but I know that almost one talk some of their uniforms, you know. But I'm saying, I was saying, it's about negotiation and yet giddy. I like the minority posture say, ye cry a bit to me abwa, ama ye discussion, and yes, say, ama and to quite to me abba. It's the only penny back can so when a nurse or midwife goes on a normal duty and gets in an accident, they bear the cost, which shouldn't be the case because they are within the scope of their employment. And it's when you accident, the liability should be on the employer, government of Ghana. So what I say, I don't know what's what nurse, you know, on also just a nurse in the year, on also just a nurse, paracetamol there. Then the nurse will not be the one paying for the cost of the treatment here. But if I call MPP for him, and here a Kokofu, or see, I have really learned my lesson. I have learned a lot in opposition. If we win power again, I won't use a V8. I don't know. More of a Kokofu, I'm rooting for him. Say you become the general secretary, but I think. Niama we say okay, it doesn't make you sincere. So, my own looking like Onokwafo at this time now, the overwhelming support that NDC is enjoying, but the overwhelming buffo anger, resentment towards MPP. If you want a real, if you want a warranted, if you also a warranted, because MPP for now, don't ye, baby, so my ye, but I can't ye no, or more hinty. Before the time to about no free as well. And the capacity around this time, I doesn't make it sincere. Never be our final they accept. But I think that the point you can raise is that never be we will do better. But the packaging of the communication must be done well. I say, when politicians say they move communicators, and your communicators, we say, I'm talking about professional political. Marketing communicators, professional political, is Dr. Sass and Timony idea. There's a way that you package your communication. And then the full soldiers now, you know, how they manage and package their communication in opposition. It's work for them, but they are shortened. You didn't go for them, young go for every before I ain't young bomb and now the reality of the economy is staring in your face. No, even this dollar issue cry, there's so much fuss about it. I'm like, government, Montumobo. Now, say Donald Trump started off fixing in Yemen 2 years' time. Nothing maybe a dollar but for now, I mean, for the politics of it, it's all right for NDC to enjoy because see, the city dollar exchange rate had become a major albatross. Just Ghana Koma, they have no choice but to do politics with it. That's allowed. That's allowed. They have to. But at the end, $1 this government buy a federal budget 6 months. The dollar never from the could not realistically be to any major thing their government here. No, and foreign shocks. Any man for Russian currency, UK currency near again. The dollar is falling because of what is happening. The tariffs, trade war, never personal. In the economics, that's substantially, and yet but substantially, no, the major cause of dollar falling here because of those international issues. We are living in a global world. Though. Ghana is not an island. It BBC or MPP for Russia Ukraine war, COVID. It was true, but no why there was extreme resentment against her, but it will be and that is why NDC must learn from it in the packaging of their communication. And that's why I'm also saying, Kokofuni MPP for must also learn to package their communication well. Now, because all you use V8 or hello, because mobile from 1992. When you send Article 71, there's no political will to remove Article 71 from the Constitution. Because there are more political will, some creation of the regions, some 16 regions. There's the political will, you do it. Free SHS, yes, can you work around? There's political will, government did it. What is it? But when say no V8, you won't do it. And see, but you see, I like Kokofu because see, I think that NPP, baby, or Moduno, they are in the same predicament. They need somebody with wisdom. And I understand politics. They need all that, plus will be an need that or human relations or what wisdom to understand the nitty-gritties or the cruciality of saving party. Yes, sir. 2028, you must as well kiss it goodbye and go and sleep. Because it's not as simple as that. You will need more. You will need more than just because FPP doesn't have the goodwill. And the era for me, I support him if he's going for general secretary. I support him. Say me, the person I know, especially the American candidate, the excellent human relations. Yera kokufu onim kasa. Onima seminar kara se piapini. Onim papato se we aboya bato beka with a smile and walk on the sambon sama manama. Those are the people that MPP need right now. Say see no money goodwill no. Say see no a before resentment abano. Say see no NDC appears to be delivering somewhat flow. Delivering somewhat because they're early days yet. You need people like that. They will be seen as not necessarily antagonizing NDC, but because you see the crucial role of a general secretary in important human relations, anyhow they can at the same time go and fix the grassroots from polling station level, constituency level, regional level to national level. No, is the fact that NIPA points at Ashanti region, which is the World Bank of MPP, 33% voted NDC. The last election 2020, NDC had 24% or 27% of Ashanti region. And the MPP must necessarily win over the vote, from Ashanti region number 1, number 2, Greater Accra region. And when they put that the biggest population, the whole Ghana, Greater Accra region, and Ipados. Because these two regions have prepared to NDC, and other regions also followed. No, so when you're general secretary, when you're national executive, so more media, almost politics, I say, almost grassroots politics, I say, almost party one almost not floating vote at Asia. Almost good relations will be a one cotwaba because they can win the people over. So it's not a matter of just fixing the broken system that when people move from no, but it's also a matter of how do we get our people to come back? How do we get our people to come back? That's why now I catch them say Kennedy Japan position is not the best. Kennedy Japan position is not the best. Because when you obia or tin someone or at least to Kennedy Japan say something, but to a large extent, no, and you be so. Because baby, I want to know you are bleeding dada. Mopla. And I'm party ni bleeding dada. It is a way you are botre. So when you are botre, Nasa one croc nipa no man to abama one. So wait there, Pamutomun Samra Baka. Oh, voters have nothing to lose. Say before you who support the Tomotuma, I said you voted for this massa. And they grown Mubeja Mundai. Because because party, the essence of political party may try another government. Because more MPP for cry, na lose power, no more video. Now more MPP, you will lose because of attack being safe journey after FSM and MPP now one MPP now one. So you can't blame anybody. You can't blame a voters. Never be on they ought to happen. Said there are 2 MPP now, 2 MPP no man lose election. And after the answer be one man commusia. Answer be one man commusia. If you don't blame anybody yet, politics is about multi-party democracy. That's what we are practicing. As you see, who changes and obviously MPP elders they plan a courtesy call to Mahama to seek pardon for Wontumi. Oh, people for a month I don't say Wontumi take account. Into why are you going to President Mahama to seek pardon for Wontumi? Mom said he take account now. Because I guess then why are you going to President Mahama to seek pardon for Wontumi? More calls that very interesting. Very, very interesting. But I think if you're one person, so because you see, well, I think before we break, I something reading. What's that? I don't know better supporting Wontumi. Because they were blaming Wontumi, say Wontumi cannot lose elections. Not to be the goal, not the country. But I'm not the enemy. I mean, advice people want to forget it. If they want to heal the party, they must necessarily forget and forgive and move on from there. And yes, mobile contact was to me winning 2028, and then they won't forget it. So I like what they are doing, but the question is, see, this is where the discrepancy comes in, and the differences in treatment to come in. Say, ordinary person, yeah, what we are pointing idea go jailina. Now we see a branch we are mobile phone. Phone and catch a board 700 Ghana cedis by a century to 18 years. And can you elders a mama papa president a child so that they don't prosecute the person now? Because Yoko prosecution is grounded in law. To me, now police for one. I don't know how much setting up Yoko. Law no more establishing Yoko. No. Part of the police power near the Yoko. It is a part of the Attorney General power near the Office of Special Prosecutor. It is an ordinary person in your someone. Come to obey your Biamana for president on the company. Until when Yoko folk claim said issues no more chasing Wontumi about corruption. It's about money laundering. And if some in fighting corruption. And the young part of manana. I don't have any problem moms or part of my Wontumi because I mean after all he's a human being. In any case, maybe I come from the school of thought say Samusi Obia for Bisikana indeed you can establish it in court. You seek about this issue of say Obi Kofesikanye Kojeleni. It doesn't serve Ghana any purpose. I'm not just for come money there are some except when there's fraud. But I guess Sikabi or one of my community service why you have my drama prison. Yeah, find yours out. That's why I supported Ghana law. You plea bargaining deal law. Yeah, Ghana you know. But ordinary people be brainy. Ordinary people be brainy. Into a no Korea banche, or Korea mobile phone, or Korea board. You need that to 18 years, 19 years, 5 years, 6 years. Not politician there. You could catch a president. But that people needs it. Because they can't just throw Wontumi away. Because also politically, it's sending the wrong signal. If they throw Wontumi away under the bus, it's sending the wrong signal to people. Say, MPP for no money. I mean, this kind of political case, they follow the same trajectory. They follow the same trajectory. A chicken, they Japan party for they just, crazy now go see aga. Koko Saham party for you boom police headquarters to Korea and Kusiaga. Koko no crane or that enemy for NBC. Wontumi this other people which is some. And the Wontumi Nankasan so for the sake of elections now person winning, and for the sake of building MPP party, Wontumi Nankasan to use this Yoko arrest with open to no for. Wontumi Nankasa must use this Yoko issue on advising them. Say Subanbi Auda and the Dikas Sebi, ne be attitude be. You must change. Say what you change here? And I'm more happy before now the best affect him. Wontumi na because you must be seen to be a unifier, at least Ashanti region. For the first time, FPP move base Ashanti region. Additional 5% of the total votes na Kotuma NDC. There's also additional record number. In order to win all those people back, Wontumi must change his attitude. Executive, in fact, I can't say waiting for the baby worker also you or Mupamo said it. National executive advocates or baby. There must be a conscious effort, say, at least in making mistake or making mistake, which is likely in every government. But who MPPs, you must do your homework. You must do your homework. Why new homework here? You know, but at the end of the day, no, say the pressure is on MPP abaying. It's NDC abaying because see, say we must remind NDC. Say they are not reminding. Yeah, and MPP too. NDC. We are not in power. More pressure and more power. So NDC must understand that this time around, more power. We are descending on you. You are the one who have the social contact with the people. One hour social contact with Ghana for. What necessary will deliver? It is a way deliver or can be as well. What you know better. Until Bibiani or see them do what. We have to deal with NDC. Niama waka or 120-day plan. Niama NDC maka or budget. Niama ma promise Ghana for some obeyenina. You must deliver it. Na se man deliver so I was here to make her. Man deliver so I was here to make her. And you can't motion NDC man to man for see a made attempt because of this whole nonsense. Political mercenarism. And to obia for can assembly and opponent attempt. Oh, yes, suman kofonia could do your matter just to shut them up. What kind of behavior is that? In any civilized society, biano. Yes, the foundation of your 1992 constitution and your bro for a friend multi-party democracy. Just say Ghana and any party back there. And you'll be criticizing party back one. You should not insult the person because you don't have any sense of entitlement to say me party, me can party at him. That is how democracy and Gazano. Oh, on democracy and go to democracy and say criticism, critique, account. And the same pressure near the MPP before no. The same pressure criticize your more free SHS. Economy need to me accommodating. You live in here criticize your more advice to agenda 111. Yes, it's kind of way. Where would you find the money? It's the same pressure. And the Bema MPP. It's the same pressure. And the Bema MPP. It's the same pressure. NDC, we must make sure NDC will deliver. No NDC full soldiers to come and insult anybody. And in any case, there is no amount of insult. And I'm ready at my best up. The OT Ghana or the OT Brocho, the OT online, the OT on ground, in the sky, in the moon. No amount of insult will shut anybody up because constitutionally we should hold every government responsible. You hold the MPP for accountable free SHS. Omudi Ashanti region, box site tika ebeye Pokwasi, any idea interchanges 5 on province Ashanti region and we criticize them every day. Now no catch them for Musaina Munchan, you're criticizing every day. We will bring the same pressure on NDC. We'll bring the same pressure on NDC. And I make no amount of insult will change that. No amount of insult will change that. It's good to be Bedi Obiatem. See a dim matter because you must allow President Mahama to work. The same criticism, not critique, is part of politics. Democrats, except on pay Democrats, and the Mohammed Tuari David. We are cool there, and there will be any right to be and you're not a constitution and Kasapra has been overthrown. It's any soldier no aban. Declaration of the Bay human will be a BDH. It will criticize NBC. We will do it boldly. We will do it harshly. We will do it bluntly. And no amount of insults. Any big changes are there. No, what you say? Maybe I made the attempt because the attempt to change the story anyway. It's your one year, the better I say, and Yama Bay Edma. But still, Office of Special Prosecutor. I'm not already SM of one. I don't have any problem. Read all you want. Say them open. And Office of Special Prosecutor, they have the power to search. They have the power to search. They can go for a court warrant. And the warrant to specify baby or munko search it. And if court are the right to search her. Why? They should search by all means. Special prosecutor should search everywhere. Be also search, be on search it. And no they supporting special prosecutor search. Wherever I was, I will search, search it. Now make sure say Emnano because yet now search baby, I was searching because special prosecutor has to prove. I also prove our evidence to support Adi our canon. Now evidence to support Adi our canon. I say one collecting a year. And then they will be able to say evidence now. Now you are doing the right thing. It's a support office of a special prosecutor. Some ready SML officer. As long as they have the warrant. Omuni warrant and never had it. But if they had the warrant that authorizes them to say, oh, by all means, Office of Special Prosecutor, I'm search it, I'm search it, style beer, search it, pa. And he almost saying conform to a cryptic message. And they need to be heavy because the point remains, say, Office of Special Prosecutor are all right. They have the power. The power now police for Kutano. OSP Sukutebi. Media the issue na minute OSP nyanye no. I has this whole media attention. Yeah, this and I was challenging him to look. So ordinary people's case is be on my way. I will to me conclude the case. No, all need the same attention on my political cases. That's the political case in the France and also. We want actual work. Why yet? What this scam and Ghana government are here because everybody supports you. It shouldn't be that there's an attempt to do the job in a certain way. Say, I say, no, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that. But by all means, if a woman has to me in a way, I'll bet Ghana, but on here, Ghana, baby, anyone who will support it. We all support it. What I say, we all support it. Someone is now, my NDC, NDC USA, almost so much more. I'm the mama now campaign is here now. Now say no, and these are my diaspora people, you know. In profile. I'm saying the president Mohammed to Moja campaign Musano. Positions there by any as one more movie. Do it or more kai president Mama. Say he promises obey ya ma omubi. Almost almost deserve it. And the NBC USA no. Because I think that I mean to be fair, they have a point. I've always been at the of the school of thought say. Yeah, and they are exposed. You have to travel and see. There's no unless to be but a lot of people they took on the channel, they've learned. Knowledge, it won't hurt. Say business as usual, we must bring them on board and give them position and try on with it. Now, I say, fantastic work, do to me, if you are California. And another man opportunity. I support this call by the NDC in the diaspora. Almost more opportunity. I support this call by the NDC in the diaspora. Say, more chance maybe. No, more money if they can take Ghana to the next level. I support them. My position maybe. I mean, they are doctors, they are nurses, they are architects, they are business people or master business or approach many. Because see, the reason why you hear approach for them to come and help government is said they don't do things the usual way in Ghana. And unless we have a robust system where we can actually help our people. And yes, sir, in fact, I don't know. We need people who can think outside the box to craft for Ghana. It's President Mama. I support this call, but my own opportunity, no more social our government because you have only 4 years. And more so that's even the more critical reason why you need a brochure for way to come and help build the system. Yes, sir. And I support this idea. Say more opportunity. No more so and from how we educate accelerated. Okay, one of the fantastic things that President Kufuor when he became a president. Or your homecoming summit. Said Ghana for what brochure Ghana for one we are bringing them back. Why? To support the system. In fact, I won't come in a President Kufuor, and no man Ghana some solid people here. Start a business. So why not? Why not, President Mama? I agree with them absolutely. Say, Ebeya, more chance. Now, I brochure for what said the Papa President Kufuor so buy no yeah. I mean, if it's been done before, and in why not repeat it again and see how, especially in this day and age, advancement. Brochure for things that they are doing. People are helping Europe governments, British governments, American government, Asian government. They are very solid position. The in Rwanda, one of the key people, transforming Rwanda. I don't see why a young Ghana force you will be a brochure. You bet me you should not build your mind now. We should allow the person to just rot because young person you bet me you should panel. The president mama and what bothers me is NBC people who pesca the campaign they go to a brochure. Never you don't want to appoint these people. I don't think a brochure for no more appointment for the sake of it. They so my human pay. and Yoska, Omo be the baby on mommy a doctor nurses, the money they are making will be 400,000 a year. They don't need Ghana's cap, but so then the contribution knowledge be one. Name when you care for some of fake doctors be a because I mean you must check the credentials of people. And sana mama right. Say nipa no pretend they say oh yes something that they are not. We don't want another scandal. That embarrassment is just unfortunate. Completely unfortunate. But my from Kwakutia, yeah, in Adema, Yamana Basokra, Kumi, NS Kumi, because we're winning contempt a case. No, I'm a Supreme Court to me overturning contempt case. But I think the contempt case is minor, the substantive case. Because substantive case, Nakata, and the substantive case is saying, and say, here, Kumi. Elections now, Akoti, and Akoti is one of the flashpoints in Ghana. It has always been a flashpoint in Ghana from before Baba Jama. Even Eastern Regional, Papa Eastern Regional Chairman. Now, we're finishing. From the time to Evelyn, NDC Women Organizer, and you call me Akoti, Evelyn. Baba Jama. It's always been a flashpoint. And a conviction now, more over 10 years, contempt case now, you go and forward when in a court. Supreme Court Adani. The substantive matter elections Nakatano was there was a problem with it. There were irregularities in the election. I think the case still remains. And I'm also one of my that be also a mutual case in Nukodi. But I mean, interesting times ahead of Ghana. Interesting times. Now we will follow all that because we need critique of the system to make the system perfect. What you say? Because the story is Supreme Court has overturned the Kofodia High Court conviction. Kofodia High Court and a conviction of NSDL committee, the member of parliament for Akutia for contempt. So the Apex Court also nullified the execution of a bench warrant. Because they're not bench warrant tonight. So confusion to me by parliament. But I see MPs I knew. MPs were immunity to I'm going to the parliament and not parliament. I want to be channel. That's why they've also not been able to arrest him. Justice Emmanuel Senyo Amadahe Onuna or issue bench warrant contempt conviction because it was based on the contempt conviction. No say young question and brand because your friend of court we did court we brought court in MB so that's what contempt no really no is about. Say court I can't be awareness so see ye be and also many be na why yes a contempt. Supreme Court 4-1 majority. 4-1 majority. See, and this is the you see when people try to politicize the judiciary, because the last round I will say the decision was made on Wednesday morning by a 4-1 majority ruling. When I'm sorry, I might say a Supreme Court unanimous FC. This is an MPP case, but the same Supreme Court one, nothing has changed. CJ no still because CJ now see on free hold, she's still there. And one, I mean, I look at the justice of multi case also. More justice of multi cases because acting CJ no, he hasn't changed anything. And I said acting CJ and go for label to say, oh yeah, Justice Bafu Boni, or yeah, NDC. And so look at this case now. As them your lawful no corona, it is clear in the law. There's nothing the Supreme Court can do. All the law on the back to baby was said from 2012 election petition confirm so level first atuguba and NDC ni and Justice Tokonusaba or NPP ni you see we should not do that because the history of Ghana step said in say who say ya na ma yekokum judges who say ya na yekokum judges and this so-called acting CJ, I must say, I'm a Justice Bafu Boni there. Or your first NDC ni Omama 4-1. So man empano court 4-1 in favor of MP. Mama yem protecting your judiciary no as sacrosanct. Ye na judiciary di free and sa ye woo. Ye na judiciary no a free and sa ye woo. And so mama me just see next week no guess no. Penifoni na be baba. Na ye nyina dey solid na dey that to ba say ye nya check first say dey na ye che no but mama good evening na mama kawa ati na kese nkoma production team no mesa could answer ne DOP edi be dey connecting ni nyina but thank you so much say ne mo join here on Jasu me dey friend me bim dey afia for country next week Monday ye the full squad no ne full panel no ebeba na ye the discussion no e dey abrem team mama na mas good night